What if I told you the number one thing you're missing as a creative from your art is actually writer's block? How's it going, YouTube? It's Mith Blue, and welcome to the first Myth Monday of the year. First Myth Monday in a while, sponsored by, of course, Mith Coffee. And right now, guys, I have about like 4 to 5 bags left, like 2 pounds left of the Mith coffee that we've been selling for this last year. If you guys are interested, go pick that up through the link down below at mithblue.com. But with that, let's get right into it. Now, imagine if you were a marathon runner or wanted to become a marathon runner, and not just someone who can complete a marathon, but maybe someone won marathons, got invited to more selective marathons, get paid, sponsored to be a marathon runner, go to the Olympics, maybe something like that. But all the while only training as much as you feel like it, as much as your body feels good. And every time you were to hit, what is commonly called like the runner's wall, okay, that's when I'm stopping. I would imagine it would be pretty difficult for you to be able to get through even a whole marathon, let alone win a marathon, without ever training in a way that actually allows you to, teaching you yourself how to break through that runner's wall. I think the writer's block, a creative wall, is exactly the same thing. Writer's block is actually the most misunderstood part of the creative process. What is happening when you hit writer's block, and why writer's block is actually the key to becoming and stepping into a way better artist, and it's actually one of the most important parts of being an artist. When you're in a creative process, or you're wanting to create, and in terms of ideas, flow, nuance, there just seems to be this block or this wall that you're hitting that you just can't seem to get past. And a lot of times as artists, we get there, and what do? We just move on, or we give up, or maybe like we made a minute-long song that's so good, but we can't think of where does this go next, and how does this stop from being repetitive, or where's the nuance, where's the new ideas to really continue this piece of art that we're creating. If you're not having writer's block, what that really means is you're only creating when you're feeling inspired. And so if you're already inspired and that's the only motivation you have when you create, most of the time you're going to step into a room or step into your creative space when the juices are already flowing. And even in terms of that, like, yes, you can get into a space where you're creating, you're really excited, and then bam, you hit the wall. Or really what's happening is any ideas that flow in don't seem nuanced, don't seem to reveal anything new, creative. The ideas, the next steps, the next things you want to add, the new ideas that are coming in, because we're always thinking, always processing, we're actually just crossing them out as, nope, this doesn't do anything, this doesn't add to the mood, this doesn't give me anything really fun or exciting or driving or mentally stimulating, and we keep crossing things off. And there's a great podcast by Dr. Huberman about like the science, like the neuroscience of creativity. Super interesting. One of the ways he would describe creativity is actually anything that reveals something new or insightful or nuanced to someone's perspective, something new about this world, about the human experience that is revealing. So what I've found is as I'm creating more often and more frequently, I'm actually going to be hitting writer's block faster. That means I'm actually getting more opportunities to step into originality, to step into nuance, to actually step into something more creative. The sad part is most of the time, at least when I've given up, it's actually because I haven't given myself enough dedicated time to actually push through it. And so if you're someone that especially has the habit of only creating out of inspiration, what is most likely going to happen is you're going to create, inspiration goes away, you hit a writer's block, and you're not going to come back to it until it makes you feel inspired again. And so whether that's a day later, a couple weeks later, maybe never, if there's no kick of inspiration again, you're never going to come back to it. And the sad part about that is when you hit that writer's block, you're actually pushing yourself to all of a sudden rediscover a new layer of nuance, a new layer of originality. Something new is on the other side of that writer's block. And we just simply don't spend enough time and energy breaking down and breaking through that. So what I want to challenge you with is, when you're actually hitting that writer's block, lean into it. There's a couple things you can do to actually break through that. Number one, spend dedicated time. If you're simply a hobbyist, that's okay. But if you really want to take another step, don't just create when you feel inspired. Actually set aside scheduled time. You're going to create no matter what. You're going to work on this piece that you really love, but you don't know where to go next. You're going to spend this chunk of time on it no matter what. Even if it's just, whether it's a painting, I'm just going to be staring at it and I'm just going to let things come, let things go. Whether it's a song, I'm just going to listen to it for at least an hour a day, and whatever happens, if nothing happens, I'm going to commit time to that. And that actually is moving out of hobbyist into more intermediate, like, or the beginner stages of creating a profession for an artist. Number two, there actually are things you can do to actually increase your brain's like creative possibilities. Again, Dr. Huberman that has this 2-hour podcast about the neuroscience, things that are actually happening in your brain to make you more creative. And so I'll actually link that down below, but you can listen to that. There's things, whether it's the food you eat, whether it's the exercise, your health, your sleep, there's lots of things you can actually do to increase creative potential in your brain. And then lastly, one thing that I utilize all the time is get into spaces with people that you can really trust and also really enjoy their creative perspective. One thing I love about reaching out to my friends like Luke or Philip, my manager, is I trust their creative perspective and their creative taste, and they also know my creative taste. But when they hear something, they can all of a sudden hear something totally different, a whole new side to his perspective. Now the caveat to that is, a lot of times when we're creating with others, we have expectations. We actually get into, instead of this safe creative space, we actually get into more of a performative space. And that can be good in terms of like, there's pressure there that can be helpful, but also it eliminates the possibilities for us to fail. Like if I want to start singing runs and trying to sing melodies that I'm not very good at unless I perfected it. If I'm in a place where I got to perform, I'm going to feel embarrassed to sing things and try notes that are out of tune and melodies that are kind of weird or words that totally didn't work. I'm going to be trying to do this all in my head instead of out in the safe creative space that is actually going to prevent me. So again, like there's caveat, but community essentially is like the best thing you can find a couple people that you can be yourself with, that you can make really bad music with or create really bad art alongside, and still have fun and enjoy it. So there you go, guys. That's the first Myth Monday. We're going to be trying to do these every single week as well, posting some other content. Honestly, we're going to try everything. I have this idea to share the best Pokemon game idea that's ever existed. And I don't know if that worked for Myth Monday. I don't know if I should just do it a random video. What do you guys want to see in Myth Mondays? What do you guys want to see in terms of other YouTube content? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. But you guys take care, and I'll at least see you on the next one. I don't even know what my outro should be, so we'll figure that out. What should my outro be? Take care.